Um, our first guest that we'll be hearing from in just a moment is Mr. Jamie Wilson, who is the creator and CEO of His Image Quarterly, which is a fashion and style blog. And I'm excited to share more about him with you all. But I want Charles to let everybody know. That's what I was saying. So I'm glad you. It was so funny because I was sitting there waiting, and I was like, Charles, you don't hear me saying go? Did he go somewhere? So I wanted you to share with the people why we're actually here tonight.
Why I'm here? Okay.
Why we're here.
Oh, why we're I have one purpose in this thing. You all know what my purpose is. Fundraising. um, today, like as the last several weeks, we've been focusing on the importance of mental health. It's so much trauma that happens in our lives, and so many things that we go through because of trauma that we induce because of trauma that we've caused, and so many facets of trauma. And so it's very important that as a people that we're just as concerned as our mental health as we are with our physical health. So Solutions of Change is an organization that is here to help people get the help that they need financially to get to the help that they need mentally, emotionally. So Solutions of Change is that venue that we're raising money for. It is that tool that we're raising money for so that people can get the help that they need. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, solutionsofchange.org is the website if you want to know more about the organization. And to donate, you can use the PayPal solutionsofchange at gmail.com or the cash tag solutions of change. And just provide a donation that will help someone. If you understand what it is to have gone through something and wish that you could have received some help, or you've been through things and you have received help, and you know how expensive it is, just give a couple dollars. You know, don't got to be a lot of money. Every dollar counts. I mean, but if you got a lot of money, give a lot of money.
Speaking of a lot of money, we have been pretty blessed to raise a good amount so far. We've raised over $2,000, and you definitely you spearheaded that, okay? I told my mama, she said, in a month, I was like, yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, if y'all need a fundraiser, you know what I'm saying, holla at your boy.
He gets
I might charge some other people, but I ain't charging them.
Not me. I'm special. So listen, you have been amazing, not just in the fundraising aspect, but in helping me get more men engaged, because I definitely didn't want this for Fancy Friday to be something that only incorporated women. I wanted all people to really engage, and so you helped bridge that gender gap. And in lieu of doing that, you've also brought some wonderful guests to us, and I'd like you to go ahead and let us know who our first guest is.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, Jamie Wilson, he is. So let me give some background. Um, I don't even know how me and Jamie became friends on Facebook. It was really like I think once we got connected, I think Jamie, remind me if I'm correct. We connected on the style front, right? We connected on the style front. He's doing things. He has an awesome blog, um, His Image Quarterly, which basically it's a great concept because it's a blog about fashion, but it includes real life uh, um, topics as well. So he's got the guest that we're gonna have on later. GQ fellow, but he's a professional in the mental health field. So I just really appreciate what Jamie's doing. He's pushing style, pushing grooming, and he's a all around good brother. We've talked on some spiritual tip a little bit, and just a good guy, you know what I mean? So I'm just happy that we were able to connect. I was glad that he was willing to participate in tonight's discussion, and I will therefore hand it over to Jamie. And Jamie, if you don't mind, just tell us kind of like the inspiration behind how you started your blog and what your end goal is with it.
Hey, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. I'm having a good time. For the blog, so His Image Consult, actually it originally started as His Image Consulting, because I started off doing image consulting out here in Oklahoma City. But as time went by and I built a lot of networks and started being exposed to a lot more things, as I built networks and just started seeing, just common things that, just goes on with life. The blog I had for His Image Consulting, I would like put, I would have my interviews, but all it was at first was just style. Then I started getting different inspiration, start talking about other topics. So I'll put like a devotional out there or just little pieces here and there. And then just for my schedule, things got really busy trying to keep things going on a monthly basis. Before you know it, after you can set up an interview with somebody and edit and get everything together, it's a new month to start all over again. And being a father at 3, it's a lot. And being working now, I've been working nights, it was just a lot. So I had to find a way to make something that will allow me to be very consistent. And also while I'm being consistent, make sure I'm bringing value. So I'm not just throwing stuff out there just to get content going. So I decided to go do it on a quarterly basis. So the name changed to His Image Quarterly.
Okay.
And so with that, it allowed me to delve deeper, kind of give it more of like a digital magazine kind of vibe. Because I want to start talking about topics. So style is the staple. However, I also want to talk about mental health. I want to talk about physical health. I want to talk about financial health and relational health, and of course, spiritual health. So things that will challenge, encourage, and bring knowledge to the whole entire man self. So not just the outer appearance, but the inside as well. Because all of that, I mean, if it's about your living, and if you want to live the best life, we're multifaceted. I want to cater to that.
Right. So Jamie, speaking of the inner health, and you are definitely a multifaceted, like you said, you're a father, and you started this in 2016, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You still work your day job, you still do financial consulting, you do the blog, like you're doing a ton, and you are still a very active father. Yes. What do you do? It's kind of a two-part question. What do you do to keep your inner self well? Mm-hmm. And how does that work into you, I guess, your ability to balance all these different roles as a man?
First and foremost, my relationship with God, having a consistent prayer life. That's first and foremost, but also just keep, maintaining a safe space for myself. Mm-hmm. So, I love my family, and I have people I'm close with that I can be very open and honest with. Because we all go through different things in life, and so we have people that you can talk to about whenever there's things that you do have going on. I'm the type of person, I like to support people. As you can see, part of this blog is I like to enable people. I like to get other people out there. It's not about me. I like to put other people out there and like to support. But for me personally, having some a close knit couple of friends I can talk about things, it helps me stay humble. It challenges me, and it helps me not stay in the dark. If you have your own personal challenges, I just learned it's not healthy to keep a lot of stuff in. And for your personal well-being and development, you got to be able to talk about stuff.
So it sounds like you're saying, of course, talking and having a support system is important to you. Is something you utilize. Have you always been that way, or is that something you had to discover as you grew? Because that's not always common for men, right? And especially Black men. At least we don't think that, right?
Yes. So I've been been that way. I think even more so, I understood the transparency, the value of being transparent. Because honestly, because I like to help people and everything, I'm used to wearing this mask and everything is all good and everything. So once I went through a big transition in my life, that's when that's when the blog shifted as well. And I started seeing the importance of transparency because once I went through a divorce. And when you go through that, man, there's a lot of different emotion stuff you deal with and everything. And I mean, there's depression, there's confusion, and choice. I mean, there's all kind of stuff. Mom, a failure. You know, this is 11-year relationship. You know, and 3 beautiful kids and everything. So it's like all this, and then adjustment to single life. You know, and I mean, so it's a lot. And so I had to be very honest where I was with all of that because at first I was just in the dark. I mean, got to a rough spot. And I had some close friends that I was just able to, you know, be transparent with. You know, I was like, you know what, this is what's going on with me because I just found it just not healthy just to keep a lot of stuff in when you know you need help. And actually, honestly, Aaron is actually one of the people that was a brother to me. They helped me out a lot. We have not met in person, but he's like a good brother to me. So we be messaging and everything, and I would tell him what's going on. And it's funny. He seen me go through a lot of stages in my process, and but yeah.
So is that why you featured him? Because like you said on your blog, you talk about a lot of different life issues, social issues, and you know, personal things that people can relate to. It's something that the everyday person can get something out of. It's very interesting. Was your own personal experience the reason why you felt the need to want to interview Aaron and feature him on your blog?
Definitely yes, because I know because me knowing gotten to know Aaron, I figured it would be a very organic interview and conversation to have, and so just knowing what I know about his character and scholarly work, that's somebody I would definitely would fully support and want to put out there the best way I can. So yeah, that was definitely a big influence. I mean, there's other some other people too. Shay Williams is also like a big brother to me. Shout out to him as well. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now let's talk a little bit about fashion because this is Fancy Friday. How did you get into wanting to do a fashion blog? Like, why was that important to you?
Well, I mean, it just kind of came along with me wanting to do image consulting. So I've always been into style, and I had a coworker who was like, you know what, you're really good at putting stuff together. You should be an image consultant. I'm like, what's that? Looked it up. I was like, okay. I did my research. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Oh yeah, I'll do that. And so I figured the best way to kind of help promote that and about what I do was starting a blog. So I created a separate Instagram account for my personal, and started making posts, and it just went from there.
How long have you been doing the consulting side of it?
I started 2014. Okay. Yeah.
That's about the time I did too. So yeah, that's dope. And then the other question I had was like, you know, as you're working with people and doing the consulting thing, like what is one of the best experiences that you had, you know, with a client, and how did that impact the client and yourself?
I can think of a couple. The very first one was actually my coworker, the one who said I should be image consultant. He's like, I'll be your first client. And it was a great experience. Once we had the whole experience and just saw his expression once everything was said and done, and he loved the outlook of it, how everything came about and the whole style. Yeah, he loved it. So it was a great experience for me, great feeling for me to accomplish that, because when you doing image consulting, you're selling confidence. It's not just a look; it's absolutely. So it's about how a person makes you feel. What you're wearing. So there was that, and then there was another buddy of mine who was into modeling. So he had this photo shoot, and so I just had fun just getting stuff together for the photo shoot. That stuff was just fun to me. So those are always fun, especially with people you know. But I always enjoy it's always a matter of knowing you did a good job is when their reaction, the look on their face, and the joy that you get, the confidence that they have. So yeah.
I was just having a conversation with I'm sorry, go ahead, Charles. I was having a conversation with a couple of my friends the other day because we're all entrepreneurs as well. And one of the things that we talk about and that you hear people say is that you have to make meaning in the world. And so when you're wanting to do a business, because, you know, it's one thing to be good at something, but it's another thing to care about the impact that it has. And so, you know, somebody may say, oh, I'm a pretty good cook, but do you care that your food makes people happy and brings families together? And so I appreciate hearing you say that, like, you know, it's not just that you're good at styling, you're pretty good at it, but you get it matters to you when you see that you help someone else feel better about the sale. So
yes, it's all about the customer experience. Yes, it's all about the experience. When they have a great experience, they're willing to recommend others to you, and you have a lasting relationship. So yeah.
I like that point you said about selling confidence, right? It's like you're doing things that are helping people, you know, feel good about themselves, right? And sometimes you just need to feel good because there's so much in the world. There's so much going on all the time in everyone's individual lives and worlds that sometimes just getting dressed up, getting little compliments here and there, you know, just makes you feel good. And sometimes a moment of feeling good can be the difference between, you know, a certain trajectory or certain bad decision, you know. And so you don't even really understand the full impact that you make on a person. So I think that's dope. And I have one more question for you. So
Okay.
if you had to describe like your own personal style, how would you describe it?
Oh man. Okay. I'll say multifaceted. So I like street style. I like suits. I like edgy stuff as well too. So it really depends on the occasion and the mood. Because I like wearing my caps.
Yeah.
Like things, my rings. But yeah, it varies. And lots of times these days when I wear suits, I don't wear ties as much as I used to. I like to like me. You and me both. That's yeah.
Off the collar.
Yeah. Yes,
well,
sir.
listen, if you all want to reach out to Jamie and learn more about his blog, you can do that at His Image Quarterly. That's the website that you see here on the screen. HisImageQ.com is the actual website, but you can find him on Facebook at His Image Quarterly, on IG at hisimage.quarterly, and at Twitter, His Image Quarterly. And I've also shared that. We want to thank you, Jamie. I hope that you please still stick around. Brittany, we want you to get geared up a little bit for us
Yes.
for some music. But I want to say something that kind of leads back into why Fancy Friday is so important. At first, you know, it seems like something just like light and fun, but I understand the greater implications. And I have already had testimonials of people who did Fancy Friday, who don't normally dress up, or who had not dressed up in a long time, or who had low self-esteem. Like I've had multiple testimonials privately for people reaching out to me. And so when you say, Charles, like sometimes you just need to feel good, like that's just it, right? I had someone reach out to me and said, girl, I have struggled with self-esteem my entire life. Since I was a child. This woman is 40 and she posted a Fancy Friday and just getting likes and getting engagement and doing that for herself, it boosted her confidence. And she just said, you have no idea. I've been praying to God about my confidence. And just because I did this, it impacted me like you don't even know how big it was. And she continued to do it a few more times in a row just because it made her feel good. So something that's light and fun really has small things go a long way. I'll say that. And I'm grateful for what we're doing.
And I mean, and I think that the significance comes where if we just impact one person, right? You know, obviously you want to impact as many people as possible, but it's worth it if you just impact one person in that way. So that's a beautiful testimony.
And y'all know I'm sappy, so it almost made me cry.
Yeah.
So Brittany,
Yes.
Take us in, Brittany. And before she takes us in, I'm just gonna have Denisha put up the solutions of change one more time. If you guys want to donate, again, hashtag solutions of change, PayPal solutions of change at gmail.com. While you're being blessed by the soulful music of Brittany Soul, then you can definitely to give during this time. This is offering time, y'all. She's singing, she's doing the offering transition. All right, thank you. Brittany, go ahead. It's all on you.
First, I just want to say thank you so much for what you just shared. Thank you. I salute the men for all that you do. I just feel like we are so diverse as people, and I just feel like with everything that's going on, we really need to celebrate our men. So I want to share a piece from my book. It is called The Key of Love with Brittany Soul. It is dedicated to the brothers.